Hey, what's up, pups? How you guys doing? Happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode of the Power Up Podcast, where we talk all things pop culture, the good, the bad, the ugly, maybe even sometimes dabbling in that supernatural and that spiritual warfare that's going on. But yeah, I was streaming earlier today, finished Echo. Awesome game, very beautiful. I'm glad I finally was able to get around to playing it, so I am super stoked. Let's see. Let's make sure we are good. All right, we're good on YouTube. Now, okay, we're good on X as well. Good, good, good. And then Rumble, old Rumble. We are good on Rumble. Sweet. Awesome. Well, we got some interesting stuff news-wise and pop culture. So I figured, hey, let's check it out. A lot of craziness always happening in video games and movies, anime, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, found a couple that sparked my interest, so we'll go ahead and check it out. All of my sources are listed in the description below, so if you want to read them on your leisure as well, you can. But let's start off. Let's start off with something because I heard that the company, what is it, Leviathan or something? I know the article I have here comes from Clutch Points, apparently. But the studio who made Baldur's Gate 3 claimed that there was no plans to do Baldur's Gate 4. Well, apparently that is not the case from this article that we found. There it is. I was like, what's the title? There we go. Oh yeah, I should probably change this as well. Wabam. Change that background a little bit, I don't like how that. Can I not make my. Apparently, I can do custom stuff. That's a little too big. Yeah, whatever. Any case. But before we begin, make sure to smash that subscribe button if you're new and punch that thumbs up if you enjoy the show. Help boost up that algorithm and turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. We all know YouTube. We all know how they suck and they don't send out notifications. So all the more reason to. But hopefully, Rumble will do you good. I've got my locals also linked as well. And then, of course, if you want to go beyond just helping the channel, just pushing algorithm, check out the membership and subscription tiers. I think it'd be pretty cool to start getting some members here. It'll go towards, obviously trying to make the show better and just overall, just help me do what I feel that the Lord has called me to do. And that is to comment on pop culture. And sometimes even I am, like I said, working on a new series that would kind of showcase how we can take kind of the legends of games and stuff that we know and take it back to the scripture. So that'll be pretty fun. But as you can see, this is from Clutch Points. Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast confirms a Baldur's Gate 3 sequel. So there you go. Now, of course, I mean, I guess you could say that Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, I played it. Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, there's definitely a bunch of debauchery in there, but I didn't get so much of a woke vibe from it. But we all know what Wizards of the Coast is doing with a lot of, Dungeons and Dragons and all that stuff. Probably Hasbro as well. So let's see exactly what this is talking about. So despite Larian, there it is. I knew it began with an L. For some reason, I was thinking Leviathan, which is a sea creature from Scripture as well, possibly a dragon. But despite Larian Studios moving on to new adventures, it appears that Baldur's Gate 3 is still getting a sequel. Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast recently confirmed that they plan on moving forward with the critically acclaimed franchise. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, the game rocked. It rocked a bunch of stuff too. What didn't it won too? Didn't it won But I don't know. I think there was other better games out there, but whatever. But Baldur's Gate 4 may not be coming anytime soon. Well, I would assume so. After breaking and setting new records for receiving a plethora of game awards, the owners of Dungeons and Dragons wish to continue riding that wave of success. Despite its third installment launching over 2 decades after the second title's release, the game ended up being worth the wait and exceeding all expectations. I'll have to disagree on that one. It was very cool to see Baldur's Gate 3 be continued. As for the charm of what made Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 awesome, I personally felt it was not in there, mostly because probably just because of the 5e Dungeons and Dragons mechanics. I don't know how you could do that without maybe doing it like the way they did it, obviously. But part of the charm that I liked of the original Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 is the fact that you would just pause the game, then plan out everything you wanted to do while unpause it, see if it works. If it failed, you load and try again. And for some reason, Baldur's Gate 3 was very difficult. I don't know why. It really shouldn't have been, but it was difficult more so than what I remember Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 being. Now, it's been a while since I played the game of 1 and 2. So, maybe I'm being a tad biased. Not 100% sure, but definitely something there. The charm of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, I felt, was not there. So naturally, fans are craving for more D&D action. Unfortunately, Larian Studios isn't only leaving the Baldur's Gate franchise, but will no longer support the latest installment. That means apart from the occasional balance and hotfix updates, no DLC and expansion packs coming our way. While this is undoubtedly a major letdown for fans, we can remain optimistic, giving Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast encouraging updates. Well, I'm not going to be optimistic because Wizards of the Coast are a bunch of scumbags who would rather cater to woke retards than actually care about the franchise. But whatever. Hasbro's Senior Vice President of Digital Strategy and Licensing, Eugene Evans, confirms that Baldur's Gate 4 is happening. So it has been confirmed. However, he isn't sure when they'll begin production. As of the moment, their team is exploring potential partners that can pick up and replicate Larian Studios' success with the franchise, if not make it better. I say take it back to the originals. Personally, we don't need motion capture characters. I played it all. Like, we don't need all of this. Like, it was awesome in 1 and 2. But in any case, so when is Baldur's Gate 4 coming out? Well, many Baldur's Gate fans are hungry for new content. Evans specified that they plan on taking their time finding the right partners. Well aware of the gap between Baldur's Gate 2 and 3, the senior VP is sure that the process won't take as long. Ideally, Hasbro wants to maintain the IP's reputation, not follow the footsteps of other franchises that tend to rush sequels. I mean, can we really trust that, though? Given the success they've garnered from the game, they don't want the franchise to fall off from the heights it reached. We're now talking to a lot of partners and being approached by a lot of partners who are embracing the challenge of what does the future of the Baldur's Gate franchise look like, says Evans. It's a weird way of, I don't know about you guys, but that felt like it was worded very peculiarly. Peculiar. Oh my gosh. I think I need more whiskey. Actually, this is my last of it. Jeffers Creek, very good. Non-sponsored, but it'd be awesome to. So we certainly hope that it's not another 25 years as it was from Baldur's Gate 2 to 3 before we answer that. But we're going to take our time and find the right partner, the right approach, and the right product that could represent the future of Baldur's Gate, Evans continued. We take that very, very seriously, as we do with all of our other decisions around our portfolio. We don't rush into decisions as to who to partner with on products or what products we should be considering. All that being said, it might be a while until we get Baldur's Gate 4. Sad as it may be, this is a good sign for the franchise. Baldur's Gate's fourth installment has a lot to live up to after its predecessor's success. Forcing an immediate release for a quick cash grab won't be the franchises, and it won't do the franchises any good. So I do applaud them for understanding not to rush it. just for a quick buck. But I mean, it all depends on what company snags it and develops it and stuff like that. Like I said, Baldur's Gate 3, I played it. You can find my streams on YouTube. All of it should be up. I liked a lot of the game, but there was so much stuff that you just did not need in terms of like, you know, again, the debauchery and all that stuff. Um, some of that was completely unnecessary. In the old games, obviously you could have relationships and whatnot, but you didn't really, I mean, and you didn't really see to the extent of it. It just faded, and then it was all based on dialogue and stuff. And that could be another reason why I kind of like the original ones, 1 and 2, and why the new one didn't have a lot of charm is because a lot of that was dialogue based. Your options, you had a limited set of them, but you could just a lot of it you had to read. And a lot of it that you got engaged in the story because you were reading the story. The story wasn't being told to you by the majority of voice acting and the majority of character models and stuff like that. Very simplistic, that kind of birds overhead eye view sort of thing. And my biggest thing at certain times too was with Baldur's Gate 3. I'm trying to think of an example. There were some times where the rolling could have just been done behind the scenes. Like I didn't have to constantly see the dice thing pop up, and then I want the feeling of me rolling the dice. Like that got old after a while. Like okay, cool, sort of thing. If there was a way to like seamlessly integrate it to where if you want to have that, you can, but if you want to put it in the back and then just do other stuff and have it done normally, I think that could have been an interesting prospect. But again, like I said, I played 1 and 2 way back in the day. So I was used of whenever you came into a problem, you were constantly saving, which you did in the new one, but when you knew something was going to happen or you initiated it and you died from it and you had to reload, you would pause the game and then do all your stuff right then and there, and then let everything happen at once and hopefully you lived, sort of thing. And then from there you had to adapt again. Like if you could still keep going, you could pause it and then tell all your characters then to do this. It wasn't turn based. But again, who knows? Maybe how they did it was the best way they could for following the 5e rulings. But regardless, as you guys can see, supposedly Um, Larian Studios declared that they would be moving on to new adventures, but Baldur's Gate 4 is apparently happening. So hopefully, we can only hope and hope and pray that it actually is taken by people who actually enjoy the series and the franchise. But I mean, we're talking Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, and we all know what they're doing with the Dungeons and Dragons series. They're bastardizing a lot of stuff by including woke garbage in a fantasy world where out of all the things you would rather be, it would be yourself. Kind of like there's a tweet that's going around about some overweight woman playing a game, and it's like her character, and her character's fat, and she's like having a breakdown crying because it's like it's me in a video game. It's like, are you kidding me? You're in a fantasy world and you're telling me you would want to be fat in that world too? Retarded. It makes no sense. There might be some physical features that you like to like put inside of a character, but like, dude, when for me, it's like if I'm doing a male character, I'm making that guy jack as shit and like so gigantic that he'll just destroy anybody who gets in his way, sort of thing. If it's a woman, making her hot, you know, that's that. All right, so that was the Baldur's Gate 4 news. So apparently it is happening. So anybody new, once again, if you are enjoying the content, feel free to like and subscribe. Turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. I do this show, the Power Up Podcast Show. I do it with either guest or solo, is what I'm doing right now. And I do game streaming, where we can get salty at times because the game is fun. Anyway, All right, so something else. We're kind of leading up to the main talking points. That is with Stellar Blade and the Tomb Raider news is kind of old, but I'm getting around to it because you know me. I'm well, you don't know me. You may not know me, but I'm lazy, or I could say fashionably late when it comes to comes to the news, but that's all right. But one thing that I did catch my eye is that Target. Now this is coming. Bear in mind, this is coming from Kotaku. So take it with a grain of salt, which I think is kind of funny too, because then I found another article that's apparently Kotaku made an article saying that apparently physical media from Target is going to be nixed. But I just recently found another article saying that that's not exactly the case. So let's check out, the reliable Kotaku and see what their take is. So, um, this is from I'm on Microsoft Edge, and I will admit I do like how they have a bunch of gaming stuff that grabs from a bunch of different stuff uh, from MSN. So pretty cool. I do like that. So you can kind of get your full range circle sort of thing. But we do have some bounding into comic articles and niche gaming and video game chronicles. So this is coming from Kotaku. Oh, oof, only 12 thumbs up and 8 comments. Ooh, it's a 2-minute read. So 2 days ago. So not super out of date. So Target confirms it will stop selling some physical media in stores like movies. The hell is happening outside? Dude, apartment complex, man. Get tiring after a while. So the future of physical media took another blow as Target confirmed previously reported plans that it would stop offering physical DVDs in store and transition to only carrying a select number of films in brick and mortar locations during specific limited times. However, the retail giant said games would be for now unaffected by this change. Okay, so it's just DVDs. But again, I don't know about you guys, but I really like having the physical media because I can 100% say I own the damn thing. Now, depending on, excuse me, no, I'm like Kenshin. Oh, um, but pardon the spaz out there. But any case, this has been a topic that a lot of gamers are concerned about, even movie, DVD collectors and just owning physical media in general. Is we're coming to a point where a lot of stuff wants to just be streamlined digitally, and that brings up the very troublesome question: is are we actually owning what we own when we buy something? Um, I've said this in other past shows, but for those of you who may not know, so when I got my very useful art degree, I am working. I am working on my job does involve my using my art degree. So I will say that, it's not being wasted, but still I got a bachelor's of fine arts degree, which is it's fine. But I remember this being a big issue back in college. I graduated college 2010. And so you're talking like that 2006 to 2010 uh, 4 year 4 years of me being in college. And this was around the time when iTunes was starting to become very popular. It was starting to become very big. Like, do you guys actually remember with iTunes and everything when they were playing music like crazy, no ads, and the whole legal issue of it was not really thought about until after a while. That was obviously when YouTube was starting to happen as well. But one of the college classes that I took, we talked about the iTunes thing. And it was the fact of, do you actually own it? Because if you read that long ass agreement, um, you're technically renting it. You're not really owning the music. And who is to stop iTunes or Apple or whoever from saying at one point, yeah, all of a sudden I'm not seeing this so-called rental license that you agreed to anymore. Sorry, you're either going to have to buy it again or take it to a more extreme position We don't like the way you think, your ideology, what we're seeing online on your social media. You're no longer allowed to have access to our digital library. So yeah, this is another blow to physical media. Over the last 2 years, we've seen more and more signs that the era of physical media might be ending. In 2023, Alan Wake 2 became one of the first AAA games to skip a physical release, and I heard that game sucks. So that's answers that question. I heard that game is a woke piece of garbage where it's not even proper to call it Alan Wake 2, since apparently you're not even Alan Wake throughout the entire game. What's up, Ted Cruz, Zodiac Killer? I was using LimeWire. Oh yeah, LimeWire. Use LimeWire free to download LimeWire Pro. That was how you got your LimeWire Pro. I actually do. Do I have? No, I have Alan Wake. I never got Alan Wake 2. I still need to play. I do want to play Alan Wake, but I might just skip Alan Wake 2. In 2024, Microsoft confirmed that Senua's Saga's Hellblade 2 would also skip a physical release. We also learned earlier this year that Best Buy is winding down support for physical media in its stores and online. Checking the retailer site today, I can't find any movies for sale. Physical video games are still available. Also in 2024, Disney shut down its long-running DVD Blu-ray movie club. So yeah, if you like buying and owning movies and games, you might be nervous. And more bad news is here. So I hate to say it, but it's going to go one or two ways. It's going to completely go the digital route, which I negatively and sadly believe that that's probably what's going to be the case. Just because I feel with that lines up more scripture based to kind of fit the end times of what happens in scripture. Because digital currency becomes worldwide, but that's going down another rabbit hole with like the mark of the beast and stuff like that. But I do see that happening, but I also do see that would also spurge a lot of sailing the seven seas when it comes to media, because it's the Office meme that you see of Jim, with what is it, with him like pointing at the poster and then going, and it's a very good meme. The game of, okay, well, if you're saying that we don't legally own the games that we buy digitally, then we're not doing anything illegal when we pirate it. It's very true. Like, don't say that you're not owning the games, but then they get ass mad when someone pirates your crap and say, well, you're stealing from me. Well, you're saying I don't own it, so how can I steal something? If I never own it, then downloading it means I'm not technically stealing it either, because it's just there. Probably a terrible way of explaining that, but you've seen the you've seen the meme out there, I'm sure. It's all over X. So on April 18th, IGN reported that a Target spokesperson told the outlet that the retailer is, quote, transitioning It's transitioning the limited assortment of DVDs currently available in some stores to its websites, and now asks that customers shop for physical media online. Well, wait a minute. Shop for it online, but you know what? It doesn't really matter, because in the end, they're going to be taking the physical online stuff off as well. So DVDs will sometimes be available at Target. However, physical movies and TV shows might return to stores during the holidays, when Target suggests people are more likely to buy a DVD. So now they're trying to state, well, we know that people like to buy stuff when it comes from the holidays, so we'll have it in stock then. Oh, it's so sad to see it. Remember back in the 80s and the 90s when I remember going into video game stores and just seeing those Sega Genesis. I grew up with the Sega Genesis. I love the Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis is like the prime example of what it meant to get a game. You saw it dangling there on that tab. You got the case, you got the jewel case. Hopefully the instruction manual wasn't colored, but you still got an instruction manual. You got the case. Everything about that was part of the game. Don't see that now. All you do is get a game that just has the disc, and you're lucky if maybe the cover case is reversible. If not, they want you to buy the collector's edition, which a lot of times it's the juice isn't worth the squeeze because it's like, oh boy, stickers. Yay. Spend an extra $10 and get some sweet exclusive stickers that I could probably find the image, Photoshop it, and just make a sticker myself. So IGN was told that this new physical media pivot won't apply to video games, which will continue to be sold in stores. At least it's video games. I hate to say it. At least it's video games that aren't really being affected, but they are. Let's be real. They're going to be affected as well. And we've already seen plenty of examples of it happening. While this might seem like good news, okay, Kotaku, I don't know what you're talking about. The reality is that if Target is willing to remove DVDs from its stores, then it might one day decide to cut physical games too. Well, they've kind of already stated that. I mean, I'm pretty sure forget which CEO, probably Microsoft, have already stated that, yeah, you know, the digital stuff is selling way better because it's cheap. Because I feel a lot of the reason why digital media sells better is because you can access it like an hour early. Ooh. And if that happens at enough retailers, then publishers might become less interested in spending the money on printing physical discs. Well, we, the gamers, have been stating that you don't need to motion capture every damn thing and have it being a walking simulation. If I wanted to play a walking simulator where I was a specific actor, I'd play Death Stranding, which I still need to beat. I was enjoying that game. But there's your ultimate example of a video game walking simulation. That could lead us into a future where most big games only ship digitally. What do you mean ship digitally? It's not even shipping. Like they would just, here's your code. Like Amazon, here's your code. Well, bam, in an email, done. That's shipped. Dude, I will guarantee you also that these assholes will probably charge for shipping. I just watch. Just watch. I think for sure they'll try to weasel in some sort of shipping cost. Hey, Brain Gaming. What's up, dude? I saved up my lawn mowing money to get Phantasy Star 2 from KB Toys. Oh, dude, KB Toys. So good. The game came with a strategy guide that I read through on the way home. Still have both. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dude. It's too good. Like, you know, this is the bullshit that the gaming companies talk about when they're like, oh, so much money goes into advertisement and development and stuff like that. Like, you have to understand that's why we can't really have like a solid, like standard physical version of a video game. It's like, okay, I can solve a lot of your budget problems. Like half of the developers you probably don't even need. Like those DEI people, fire them immediately because they're not going to help you sell any games. Fire them immediately. Let's see. Thinking about motion capturing some actor that in the end people just want to play as the character, not as the actor. Don't hire them. There you go. There. Not everything needs to be motion captured, so cut that out. You know, yeah, is this jobs for people? Yeah, but is it necessary? That's the thing. Is it necessary for the game? And the answer is no, because we're seeing the indie games like exploding stuff. That's why a bunch of indie games follow the old school 2D sprite games because they know it sells and they know it works. Could lead us into a future where most big games only ship digitally. That wouldn't be so bad if digital storefronts weren't shutting down and old games weren't being routinely killed by publishers after it's been decided they are no longer profitable. We are entering a new era, and it's scary, folks. Hold on to your PS2 and Xbox 360 games tightly. Yep. Surprisingly, Kotaku was a fairly decent article. So Kotaku wrote that one. I just grabbed this from MSN. But then I found another article where it says Target will not stop selling physical media after all. Now, chances are it's probably kind of what Kotaku covered in the article. They just threw that tagline that title up there just to scare people. All right. So this is from Collider. Target will not stop selling physical media after all. So Target will not stop selling physical media despite earlier rumors. The retailer will carry big titles in store while offering a large selection online. Okay, so Kotaku kind of covered it, but that's kind of what the plan is, apparently. The move comes as many retailers shift away from physical media sales in a digital-only landscape. So Target made headlines earlier this week as it was reportedly abandoning physical media for good. That was just a rumor at this time. Good job. Good job, Kotaku. Running on that rumor. Excellent journalism. But now, Target has officially come out to make every physical media fans weekend. Wait. But now Target has officially come out to make every physical media fans weekend. The big chain isn't getting out of the movie game. They're just going to continue to downsize. This update comes courtesy of IGN, who reached out to an official Target spokesman who stated they would be, quote, transitioning the limited assortment of DVDs carried in stores. They would continue on saying, based on our guest shopping patterns and broader industry trends, we're transitioning the limited assortment of DVDs we carry in stores to Target.com, where guests will continue to find thousands of titles. They finished by stating, moving forward, we'll offer select DVDs in stores when they are newly released or during key times throughout the year when they are more popular, like for gift giving during the holidays. The biggest takeaway from this news is that Target will continue to sell online. This is much different than the original report and a different approach to what Best Buy did at the beginning of the year. The latter both abandoned physical media, movies, and games in stores and online. Another clarification is that this move will only affect movies and TV shows. Target will continue to sell games, vinyls, and books as normal. I want to exactly know. Sorry, that was a tad bit loud. Based on our guests' shopping patterns, what exactly is the shopping pattern of a normal Target goer? And broader industry trends, what does that mean too? We're noticing a bunch of people only buy digitally only stuff. Well, if the store only has digital stuff, of course they're going to be buying digital stuff only, because that's the only thing that's available. You know, like, what are these things based on? That's what I want to know. I'm sure there's some people who can like really dive into it and stuff. Maybe I could look around too, but like, see, I feel like this is just like, we're looking at other industries and they're just doing digital stuff, so we're just going to do that too. You know, that garbage. Physical media fans can exhale. Close. Wait, did you have up top say open? Do they really need to? Why did they throw that in? Close. Like it's the end of the article? Like, why do you need to announce that this is the closer of the article when you don't even have the open? Anyway, lately it has felt like being a movie collector was it has felt like being a movie collector was a losing battle. The Venn diagram of Target shopper and wine mom is just a circle. Says brain what brain gaming. Yeah. See, that's why I don't believe in a lot of this stuff when they're like, well, we looked at the patterns of our customers. It's like, I hardly doubt you do. And if you do, you're probably looking at the wrong people, or people who like just don't care. Rip Best Buy. Best Buy has completely left the scene. Was there any? I don't know if it was just like a northern thing, because I'm originally from Illinois. Did anybody have any stores called Media Play? We had a thing called Media Play. Man, that was just like a gigantic store of like video games, videos, DVDs, action figures. Ugh, I miss it. I miss it. Everything sucks. Like, why can't we go back to the 80s and 90s? 80s and 90s knew what's up. was actually I had Stuttering Craig on the show not too long ago. We were kind of talking about it, like this stuff as well. And I DM'd him not too long ago because he was thinking about buying back Screw Attack, but he was, kind of the mindset, because a lot of people also pointed it out. It's like they're like what they're like. He didn't. I don't believe he revealed what they were the asking price of buying it back, because I forget who technically owns it. Not Rooster Teeth, Warner Brothers. In the end, Warner Brothers, I believe, bought Rooster Teeth. So in the end, Warner Brothers owns Screw Attack. And he was saying the price they were asking for, would it be worth actually doing it, just because it's a dead company, because it's not going to make profit anymore. And a lot of people were like, yeah, if it's like not making any money, it's the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Well, other people were like, well, you put your part of your life into it, and you want to share that with other people. Not in the Northeast. Sounds like Newbury Comics. Yeah, I'm sure it was probably just a northern thing, or at least just in my area. But yeah, but we all remember that place, like Suncoast and all that stuff. Wait, Suncoast? I think, yeah, Suncoast. I think it's Suncoast. My uncle owned a pool company. I think that pool company was Sunco. So I kind of get them confused a little bit. But we all had that old school big, I guess you could say literally a mom and pop shop, but it was a gigantic one, like way back in the day, and now it's gone. But we all had those. But going back to what talking with Stuttering Craig, he I said to him, I said, like, and part of this channel too is I'm worried that the nostalgia spirit that we all know and we all love is dying, and it's being smothered by a bunch of woke bullshit, and that we need to make sure that that flame doesn't go completely out, and we need to rekindle it. But we also need to truly look at this and think to ourselves, for our children and stuff, are we creating a nostalgic experience for next generations? And sadly, I think we're not. I think the video game industry is fucking garbage, to where if you're a kid growing up, like, what nostalgic memories will you have? I think we're at a prime time now, to where we can make a present nostalgia that hopefully will be of the better for the next, for the future. Because I would love to create a nostalgia that I remember having back in the day for my kids whenever I have them. Sadly, right now, I don't think that's the case. Used to get my anime from Suncoast. Yeah, that's what I thought. Suncoast. Let me know what you guys thoughts in the comments below. We're on YouTube, Rumble, and on X right now. But do you guys think that we're leaving behind a positive nostalgia imprint for the next generation? I don't think we are. I don't think we are, because we're letting a bunch of DEI bullshit being infesting the things that we love. I've said before on past shows too, like I truly believe the reason why the 90s and the 2000s people love them the most, and even why Hollywood is banking on, and the video game industry is banking on these established franchises, is because those franchises took a gamble, and the gamble was successful, and it grew into something great and beautiful. The companies nowadays just think that, well, it's the franchise. As long as it has the name, we'll make our money back easily. So we can just go ahead and not be unique, not be original, copy and paste already established lore and everything. Remove it, make it up to date and modern of a certain ideology, and it should make our money back. And it doesn't, and it fails. The 90s and the early 2000s, you could take that gamble, and if you failed, it was okay. You could try again. Nowadays, you can't do that anymore. It's truly saddening, and it pisses me off. Does it piss you guys off? Ted Cruz says it's a combination of DEI and not giving us access to classics without pirating. And even when they do give you access, it's a terrible port of it. I pointed this out many times, and there's channels out there that point this out too. Like Nintendo releasing like version 5 of Super Mario Brothers 3, and for some reason you can't capture it how it was back in the day, either with the color palettes or this or that and stuff. It is mind baffling, and yet a ROM can do that easily, but they go after pirating because of, I mean, it's Japan. Japan has a whole different copyright system. I mean, to me, it's bullshit, but you know, there's people who talk about it like Legal Mindset and stuff like that. And they can explain it better than I can. But it's bullshit. But that's my biggest thing. My biggest thing, if you have kids and you're sharing with them games that you grew up with because you know it's good and it's nostalgic for you, that's great. That's amazing. Because I don't think you can do that with today's games. Like, are you like, if you have a kid, are you sitting your kid down and want a bonding time with him or her? You sit them down and you're like, hey, you wanna play something that daddy played back in the day or something? They're like, yeah, yeah. Are you gonna go and grab them like the God of War, the PS4 version? Or are you gonna go and give them the God of War 1 that you played back in PS2? Something like that, you know? Or like, no one, I truly believe no one is doing that. No one is doing that. Because you can't, because the games nowadays aren't worth showing your kids something to get them excited for of what the future of video games hold. They always go back to the classics. Always. But anyway, so Disney shut down their movie club and stopped selling physical media in Australia. Really? Sorry, sorry, Australia. Not only do you not exist, but man, can't even get Disney movies. And the rise of streaming has put into question their entire existence in recent years. However, at the same time, places like Walmart and online retailers like Kino Lorber. What the hell is Kino Lorber? There's just links over to like some others. What? Anyway, after a week when it looked bleak for Target, it's nice that the major retailer is keeping one foot in the physical media scene, especially where online is concerned. It's a small victory for now. Target has been the home to exclusive versions of movies for years, like Best Buy and Walmart. It'll be interesting to see if that continues in their update movie lineup and what titles they'll carry. Major films like Dune Part 2 and Furiosa are going to be a given, while the smaller releases and TV shows will get cut from their store shelves and remain online only. Well, there you go. Once again, you know, physical media taking a hit. Excuse me, taking a hit, but there is hope, I guess you could say, but not really, because at some point it's just going to get nixed altogether. And then you're left with like companies that like limited run games that make physical media, like limited physical media versions of games and stuff. But I mean, you saw what they did with Carolyn. So it's like, what other companies out there do that? That's not them, because they're assholes. Because they care more about catering to an ideology than they do about catering to actual games. All right, but let's go ahead and dive into kind of what was kind of big the past couple of days. We'll start off with, and that is video game censorship. Tomb Raider 1 through 3. Anybody who's been following my channels have seen, or hopefully have seen, that I have streamed Tomb Raider 1 and 2 Remastered. They're my first time experiencing the game. Really loved them. Thought it was good. I played the Crystal Dynamics' version, and it sucked each time the new game released. But now we have to worry about companies who are claiming that, yeah, we won't touch anything, we'll just remaster them and we'll give it to you. And then they go back on their word and they start censoring stuff. Thus is the case with Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered hit with post-release censorship. So not only do we have to deal with pre-release censorship, which, yeah, it's always existed. That's why I personally I consider myself a hybrid gamer. Wherever I can get the most uncensored version possible, whether that's through emulation and patching and all that stuff and modding and stuff, that's what I'll do, because I want to experience the game untainted and untouched as much as possible on the cheap. Ted Cruz said, you love them? I heard a lot of swearing during those streams. Look, all right, it's a love-hate relationship. They're good games. I can see why they're classics, but they piss you off. But a lot of those old school games, they did that. If I truly hated them, I wouldn't play them again, but yet I did. All right, so this is from Bounding into Comics. Again, you can find all of the articles that I'm reading in the description below. So a new update removes Lara Croft pinups from Tomb Raider 3, The Lost Artifact. So you can kind of see that back here. I mean, this one isn't even that bad. The one in the red. I mean, even this one over here isn't bad either. Bullshit. In the latest instance of a video game developer censoring a release post-launch, a recent update to Aspyr and Crystal Dynamics' recent Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered has removed a pair of risque pinups featuring series protagonist Lara Croft from the third game's expansion pack, Tomb Raider 3: The Lost Artifact. Or Lara, I guess, not Lara. 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 It's all bunch of never mind. It's all a big fucking waste of time, as Pigeon would say. Anyway, the two pinups in question, both of which are based on promotional renders made for Tomb Raider 3 proper, can be found hung above Lara's scuba gear locker at the start of the game's 4th level, sleeping with the fishes. See? You know what happens if you fuck me? Be sleeping with the fishes, see? That's from Orgasmo. So in the first, the buxom heroine can be seen wearing her default outfit and laying against a red velvet background, kicking the spice factor up just a notch. The second pinup depicts a fully nude Lara wrapped seductively in a bedsheet, her body illuminated only by a pair of candles. That pixelated glory feels good. In the initial release of Tomb Raider 1 through 3, these pinups could be found on full display in both the Lost Artifact's original and remastered graphics settings. Their appearance in the former, admittedly hard to make out thanks to their being composed entirely of pixels, and the latter presenting them in the original high-definition resolution, as you can see right there. Yeah, why is it a big deal? If it was so pixelized to begin with, like, there was no reason to, like, just remove them completely. There is a mod out there for Steam. To where you can re-put those back in. I got them right away. I think someone like when this came out, I think someone posted a link to it in the tweet. However, as reported by users in the Reddit Tomb Raider subreddit, following the release of the collection's title update 2.0 on April 11th, the pinups, while still present when playing the game's original graphics, have now been completely removed from the remastered version of The Lost Artifact. Boo! In adding insult to injury, not only were the pinups subject to post-release censorship, but the update's patch notes failed, and as of this writing, continue to fail to make any mention of their removal, thus effectively leaving players to be blindsided by the change. See, now that right there is bullshit. And this brings up an important fact that Can you trust these companies at all not to fuck with anything when it comes to updating with patches? This is like the same garbage that politicians use when one of their laws or their bills that they want to bring into effect gets rejected. So in another bigger bill somewhere else, they kind of insert it in there because it's so big, no one's going to want to go through and read everything. Like it's the same garbage, man. Ugh. So there you go. There's like the old school graphics. And there it is. Gonzos. Notably, despite Tomb Raider's remastered, including a boot up disclaimer that promises players the games therein would be presented in their quote original form unaltered, this is not the first instance of censorship found within the collection. And interestingly, both are related to pixelated titillation. That's actually a very interesting question because if they're throwing up a game, if they're throwing up this retarded disclaimer saying we don't, condone all the racial, right here contains offensive depiction of people and cultures rooted in racial and ethnic prejudices. So they're just saying like we're crystal dynamic, we jack off to the DEI, we don't condone this sort of stuff. But rather than remove this content, we'll just leave them in here and just slap on this stuff. This is so fucking dumb. In the hopes that we may acknowledge its harmful impact and learn from it, go fist your own self. Stop fisting the game with bullshit and fist your own assholes. Because you guys suck. But it brings up the question, though, is can this be like considered false advertisement? Is there like an actual legal possibility here? Because if it's straight up claiming that instead of removing it, we're choosing to present it here in its original form, and now you're doing a patch that is removing certain elements from the original game, is this false advertisement? And could this legally lead to somewhere? I don't know. I wonder if Legal Mindset has ever talked about this. Might send him a message. So as seen in the first Tomb Raider game, series antagonist Pierre Dupont, or however you pronounce it, sports a bomber jacket featuring a pinup style graphic embolized on its back. There you go. There it is right there. I never noticed that. So in the original 96 release of the game, the graphic in question appearing more as an Easter egg than anything else due to the fact that it's only viewable during those rare moments during his boss fights where the player is able to get behind him. Yeah, he kept running away like a bitch. Features a completely nude blonde-haired woman sitting underneath the text Lady Luck and its abbreviation LL. There you go. Whoopoosh. Oh, yeah. Never noticed that. They slapped a bikini on her. So she's wearing a red bikini. Further, the two red L's, which previously adorned the code, have been replaced by the Greek symbol for Phi Tau. It's unknown whether this is in reference to the binary star Phi Tau or Pierre's college fraternity itself, also colored red. I don't know. As of writing, neither the game's co-developers, Aspire Media and Crystal Dynamics, have offered any public comment on their decision to censor this pinup. And that is the end of the article. But yeah, it leaves us very concerned that now apparently companies that claim we're not going to touch anything, that's a lie. Now we got to have a shield up because they'll just do shit like this and just hope that nobody notices. And then it also begs to question, because some people out there are taking it to the extreme to where it's like, well, if you're not giving me the full uncensored version of it, I'm not buying the game. Well, how extreme are you going to take it? See, this is the other thing too that kind of is, I think, retarded when it comes to the people that are like, oh, I'm not giving them my money. I understand that, yeah. But when you start boycotting video game companies. I just see it. You're just going to continue boycotting it until you're literally not going to buy anything anymore. And this is a prime example of the line being pushed another way too, because now companies just say, yeah, we won't touch anything, and then wait a couple months, maybe even a year, and then just very sneakily throw in a patch that gets rid of stuff. Now, there's obviously a lot of pushback because there's people dedicated to finding this stuff and exposing it, which I think is great. And then it brings in the other question of, by doing this, companies are pushing people to pirate their stuff. Because it's like, okay, if you're not even going to give me the satisfaction of the comfort of me knowing that if I buy this game, you're not going to touch it anymore, and now that's a lie, then not only am I not going to give you my money for it, I'll make sure you lose money by going out and pirating it, by sailing the 7 seas. And say, fuck you. So dumb. So dumb. So retardo. So, yeah. Aspire says they won't touch it. Now, some people have said that this could just be a Crystal Dynamic push, which very well could be, and Aspire had nothing to do with it. But it still doesn't defeat the fact that these companies can still weasel in stuff way after, the old bait and switch. They'll bait you in, get your money from you, and then do this shit. So it's like, why should I even trust you of giving you my money when you claim that you're not going to touch anything? You went out of your way to make this stupid retard disclaimer and then just said, oh, fuck it, we'll still censor stuff. But you want to know who apparently is not censoring stuff? Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade keeps getting better and better, apparently. I do not have a PS5. And part of me wishes that I could get a PS5. Maybe I should pull a DSP and, well, guys, help me. I need to pay my bills. I need to get funds. Should I start a PS5 fundraiser just so I can get Stellar Blade? But part of me kind of wants to get Stellar Blade if it comes to PC. I do want to do PCs. You're wrong says just play the classic ones. Sick of remasters altogether. Stop trying to sell me the same shit because you have no new ideas. I mean, I won't lie that I wouldn't mind seeing up-to-date graphics on stuff. But yeah, you give them that inch, they'll take a mile. So yeah, you might as well just play the OG. That's why I like the modding community. That's why I like romhacking.org or no, .net, where tons of fans just on my free time, I'm gonna go out and fix this game because I loved it so much. Awesome stuff. Like, I really wish we could really give them, the gratitude that they deserve. Hell, what is it? Mother? Earthbound 2, like, I think got a fan translation for the longest time, and then finally they decided to release it over to the US with the SNES Mini. But apparently Stellar Blade will be uncensored in all regions. Oh man, I really hope so. I really hope that they can keep solid in this. But let's see what this has to say. This comes from Video Game Chronicles. So the PlayStation exclusive is out next week. So a post from the Game's X account reads, Stellar Blade offers the same uncensored version in all countries, including the Japanese version. This post comes in the wake of some PlayStation titles having regional variances, which players have routinely called out for perceived censorship. I agree. Stellar Blade will be released on April 26th. Ooh, that's in 5 days. That's a PS5 exclusive. I wish I could get it. Wish I could get it. Hopefully it'll come to PC, but then again, I know a lot of PC ports don't come out for like years, apparently. Oh, sucks. A demo for Stellar Blade was released March 29th, after which the game's official X account advised players to, quote, go easy on it, with some players racking up over 50 hours of play on the demo alone. Damn. Yoko Taro, The director of the Nier series recently said he thinks Stellar Blade is, quote, much better than his own game. Dang, Nier Automata. Wow, what a compliment. That is awesome. So, in a new interview with IGN Japan, as translated by Automaton, Taro and Stellar Blade director Kim Hyung Tae both sat down to discuss their respective games. Taro praised Kim, saying he's been a fan of his work ever since his work on the Magna Carta series of games, and says that even though he's the older of the two, he still considers Kim as senior on a professional level. On Kim's latest title, Taro said, Stellar Blade is such an amazing game. I think it's much better than Nier Automata. And there it is. A rather short article. And also for anybody, like when I find articles that I find interesting, I don't read ahead. I just read them. So that you guys can get like a first reaction of what I think. Well, and Jeffers Creek doesn't help, but again, that was like the last of it. So, but dude, that would be sick. I'm super curious on how they're going to get by with the uncensored version of all countries. I'm just waiting for like one of these big video game developers to like do what Matt Stone and Trey Parker did. And that is, they didn't really go after like the people who, the websites where you can watch full South Park episodes and stuff like that. They themselves didn't really give a shit because that was exposure. They saw it as exposure, and that's exactly how they kind of got to where they are, is, the spirit of Christmas being shared around the internet and stuff. So they understand the power of how that works. These game companies, all they see is, well, let's see, the dollar sign. It's all they see. And then they listen to the wrong people. They listen to a fringe minority group who don't even like games to begin with. They hate it and they want to destroy it. They want to bastardize everything. But yeah, I'm super curious about offers the same uncensorship versions in all countries, because if they say someone else from a different country buys the game and say that the government itself like says, no, we're censoring this and because we have to, and blah, 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 blah. Like, how will they get around that? Like, will they release patches that like uncensors everything? That'd be insane. Or will they somehow give it out to people? I'm very curious on how they're guaranteeing that. That's awesome, though, regardless. Brian Wabrain Gaming says, I want to pick up Stellar Blade, but my backlog is making me want to wait for a sale. If the reviews are over a 9 out of 10, I may just have to pay full price. I don't really go off of reviews aside from people that I trust that I feel won't lead me astray. But I mean, you're talking about paying in full price. But yeah, I feel you with the backlog. My backlog, that's a lot of my games that I've been streaming is from my backlog list, which can be found on Locals, by the way, that you guys should check out for free if you want to. But yeah, a rather short one. But the way we're seeing Stellar Blade just knocking everything dead, pissing a lot of people off because they hate women and they hate beauty, feminine beauty, because they're too busy demasculizing women in games like Pokemon, which I'm trying to go through all the Pokemon games, but now I'm considering, I don't know where to stop. Like, where do I stop before the DEI starts kicking in the games? Because I don't want to support that shit. But yeah, they are just killing it. So I definitely want to play a Stellar Blade if I can somehow. But yeah, those are the articles that I have for tonight. So that pretty much we're at the end of the show here, folks. Super humbled and appreciative of everyone who stopped by. We were on YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. I started streaming on Kick here, and well, not Kick, excuse me. I don't know why I said Kick. I tried to stream on Kick, but I haven't had good enough luck there. X is what I meant to say. But we had 12 views on X, so appreciate you guys for hanging out. Feel free to follow me on there if you want to. And we were on YouTube and Rumble as well. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to call it for tonight. So again, you can find all the articles that I read in the description below if you want to go check them out for yourselves. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. Smash that thumbs up button, turn on notifications, get notified when I go live, because we all know YouTube sometimes is really gay when it comes to sending out notifications, specifically to channels that they hate. I'm not saying I'm on that list, but you know. But yeah, and if you guys want to go beyond just helping boosting the algorithm, feel free to check out the membership and subscription tiers. Thanks to everyone who hung out. See ya, Brain Gaming. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, you guys have a good rest of your night. Take care, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. So take care. God bless. Peace.